Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's professional development session on notifications and settings in Canvas. Another title for this might be customizing your Canvas account. We're going to be talking about things today that involve your Canvas user account. And there are all sorts of settings associated with that account that you can change and customize your experience in Canvas. Notably, you can control, among other things, you can control how Canvas communicates with you and how often. So if Canvas is bugging the fool out of you by sending you emails several a day involving things that you no longer care about or maybe never cared about, we're going to learn how to eliminate that problem. Or if Canvas is not telling you some things you'd like to know, you can fix that too. That's the core of today's session, though there are other details we'll talk about as well. So let's get rolling. Almost everything we're going to talk about today is going to be accessed through the Canvas user account menu, which is on the gray bar that you see on the left-hand side of the screen in every Canvas page. And your account button is right at the top of that. You may or may not have a profile image displaying in the little circular window associated with that button on the global access menu. And if you don't, I'm going to show you how to ensure that you do. Your students like to see that. And that profile picture will show up from time to time in Canvas. So let's see how to get to that. I've got Canvas up here. And I have gone to some lengths to make this as crisp and clear as possible, though a little bit of fuzziness is sort of inevitable the way I'm displaying this. But if you're having trouble seeing anything, let me know right away. But here's my account button here in the global access menu. And if I click on that, this panel slides in from the left and gives me a bunch of account settings and information that I can use. For instance, I can control my notifications from Canvas. Canvas will automatically, or will, without direct immediate involvement on your part, notify you about various things that go on in Canvas, or especially in your Canvas courses. You can control what Canvas notifies you about and and how often. You have an account profile, which you can customize. You have access to your files on Canvas, the files that you have uploaded into your courses and into your personal file area on Canvas through your account menus. This is where you can create and access e-portfolios in Canvas. This is where you find any content that may have been shared with you by colleagues. You also have access to a badging system that is built into Canvas. And you can get a QR code that will help you log into Canvas on your mobile device and make life a little easier. And you can access recent global announcements through this. And all of this is accessed through this slide-in panel here. We'll start with the account profile. That's kind of the core level of your account settings. That includes a profile image, which you can upload. And there are some other little items in the profile you can edit. You do that by clicking on the link that says profile here. And that seems to be fairly clear on my second monitor, or on my second computer over here. Let me know if you're having trouble seeing this. And this is your profile page. You'll see your profile image if you've uploaded one. You'll also see a little biography that you can enter that appears in various places in Canvas. And you can also add any links that you are particularly fond of or that are particularly important to you as personally as a Canvas user. For instance, I've got a link to our open on-demand tutorial site here in my profile, which is where we put all the recordings of these professional development sessions and a lot of other good stuff. The first thing you might do on your profile page is either load or update your profile image. You can do that just by mousing over that image, and you'll see this big pencil pop up. The pencil is a universal edit symbol in web interfaces. So by clicking on that, I should be able to change something, edit something. If I do that, I get 3 options here. I can upload a new picture that I already have that I've maybe taken with my phone or a digital camera and loaded onto my computer. Or I can take a picture. I'm not going to worry about Gravatar here, but I could, if I have a webcam operating right now, I could take a live picture and post it. But normally you're going to upload a picture. And if that is selected, if you just click here where it says choose a picture, a file manager window, File Explorer on the Windows PC like this, or the Finder in the Mac will pop up, and you can navigate to where you have your pictures stored, your image files stored on your computer. And you can scroll through that until you find a profile image that you want to use. I've got way too many here. There's one. I can use that one. Profile image can be just about anything. It doesn't have to be a picture of you. It can be a cartoon character or something like that. Though your students do like when you post in a discussion forum, this little image appears next to your discussion post. Your students like to know what you look like, be reminded of what you look like, particularly if they see you rarely. If you're teaching an asynchronous course, online course on Canvas, and you don't often meet with them live on Zoom or face to face, that's especially important. But they like to see your image anyway. It reassures them that you are a human being and not Robbie the robot. So you select the picture you want, you click open. You get a little preview window which allows you to decide to crop that picture. It needs to be a circular frame, so the highlighted part of the image is what's actually going to display. You can move this crop circle back and forth. You can make it larger or smaller at need by clicking and dragging the handles at the corners. And once you get this looking the way you like it, you can just save it, and your profile image will be uploaded to Canvas, and in a minute it will replace one that was there or provide you with one for the first time. Let's see if I can speed that up by refreshing that page. Yep, there we are. You can also just take a picture. Let's see, I'm not quite sure what's going to come up here because I have multiple cameras, but let's see. All right, that's good enough. Get this microphone out of the way. And I can just look at the camera. There it is. Yeah. And smile, think good thoughts, and take the picture. That'll do. I can save that. All right. So, pretty simple process. And it does matter. And it's nice to have your students do this as well. The students can upload their own profile images as well. If you want to enter a biography, you can edit your profile. This button up here in the upper right, that's not hard to see. And you get a text box here where you can type whatever you want. I'm not sure what the limit is there. You can't put your entire life story in there, but besides which nobody would read it anyway. But certainly not mine. Something short and pithy is usually good. And you can also add links, particular hyperlinks to content outside Canvas somewhere that you are particularly fond of or that you want to share with folks. And when you're done, you just save your profile and it becomes a part of the record. So, profile. Alrighty. There are a number of account settings that you can change for your account. And you access those, unsurprisingly, under the settings link here in your, account options menu. And you get to this page. Now this one's a little, let's try something here. See if I can sharpen that up a little bit. Is that better?
That's better.
Good, thank you. All right, let's do that. I'm just sharing my Zoom screen here with you. You see my Zoom menu down there at the bottom, but that won't interfere. Cuts me off a little bit there, but I can, that's not the worst thing in the world. Let me get myself out of the way here up in the upper right. All right. Let's see, am I covering up anything important that way? No. All right. What can you do here? Well, you can edit or add email addresses to Canvas. You can also do what's called push notification setup. You can change, this is where you change your password. This is probably the most common reason for visiting this screen, or your pronouns. You can also download content from your courses, and these are kind of cool. You can decide which web services to use, and you can control certain feature options in your course. Let's take a look at what some of that means. Okay, let's start with the email addresses. By default, the email address that Canvas will use to contact you when it needs to, or the email address that it will use, anything that is sent to you by Canvas or forwarded to you by Canvas will come to the email address or addresses listed here in the upper right-hand corner of your settings page, in your contacts section of your settings page. By default, the email address associated with your Canvas account will be your default email address in PeopleSoft, in the portal. Usually that is your district, your sdccd.edu email address, though you can set your default email address in the portal to something else. And if you do that, that's the email address that Canvas will get. This is automatically populated into Canvas, into your Canvas account, every 4 hours when the integration process between PeopleSoft and Canvas runs, that updates all the courses and the enrollments, and also personal account details, some personal account details in Canvas. You can, if you wish, add email addresses. This will ensure that Canvas, and when Canvas sends notifications and things like that, it sends them to these email addresses. They'll send it to all of them. So if you have different email addresses that you use, you want to get these Canvas communications in more than one place, you can add email addresses. Like I can add my district email address here. I'm not quite sure why I took it out. I just type it in here and click register or enroll. And it sends a confirmation link to my email. Sometimes that can take some time to arrive. Let me go over here and check I've got my district inbox up on another screen here. Yeah, there it is. All right, let me pull that over so you can see it. And there's the email I got from Canvas that asked me to confirm that, in fact, that is my email address. And it gives me a link here to confirm the registration. If I click that, it pops up my profile image there for a second. And now my district email address is listed. I can choose which one of these is the primary email address, though I can't do that with the new one right away. It takes a little while for that to become available. But if I just switch that star from one email address to another by clicking, I can I can identify the primary email address that I want to use. That doesn't make a lot of difference in most cases because Canvas is going to send to all three of these email addresses when it notifies me of something. If I no longer want to use a particular email address, I can delete it by removing it from the system. That pretty much covers that. You're perfectly fine. Generally, it's going to be best if you leave the primary email address as your sdccd.edu email address. There's certain other integrations with Canvas that will be less problematic if you do that. There are also other ways that Canvas can communicate with you. It used to be capable of sending SMS or text messages to your phone. They removed that capability some time ago, but they haven't taken it out of all the accounts. Canvas removed that. So that's no longer an option as far as I know. Last time I checked, that was no longer an option. But you can connect your mobile device, your smartphone, to Canvas in such a way that Canvas can send you push notifications that pop up on your phone's home screen when particularly important things happen in Canvas that you need to know about right away. And both of the email and the push notifications, you can control what triggers Canvas to notify you and how often you get notified and things like that using another aspect of your account settings here that we'll talk about in a moment. But these push notifications can be very handy, and they are automatically enabled if you load the Canvas teacher or student app onto your smartphone or your iPad or your Android tablet. If you do that and then connect or log in to Canvas once using that app, which is a handy thing to be able to do. If you, as a student, as you probably know, you have many students who are taking who are interacting with Canvas solely through their cell phones, their smartphones, and doing so quite adequately because the Canvas student app is very powerful and very functional. But once you log into Canvas on your smartphone or your tablet, this push notification contact option automatically appears. And Canvas can use that in certain specific and very important circumstances to send you push notifications on your phone. We'll see how to control that here in a minute. If over here on the left, we have a number of settings, some of which you can change and some of which you can't. Your name, you can't change. That comes from PeopleSoft. If you have a name change, that has to be processed through your portal, your web portal, your PeopleSoft portal. And then that change will automatically be reflected in Canvas within 4 hours. Your pronouns appear here, and those can be changed. Your default email, we've already seen how to change. You don't want to change your system language default, probably. You can't. And your time zone and all that stuff. And your password is also managed here. If you want to change such as this as you can change, you go to the Edit Settings button here. And some of these options give you a means to change them. Like you can pick your pronouns. You can change your default email from here as well. You can change your system language default. I forgot about that. And your time zone, if you move. And you can change your password. If you want to change your password, you click this box right here. You enter your current password. You do have to know your current password to change it. And then you enter a new password twice and update settings down here at the bottom, and your password is changed. Any Canvas user can change the password at any time. And given that your default password is your 8-digit birth date, that's not exactly a secure password. Lots of people probably know that. So it's not a bad idea to change that. And there's a forgot password dialog on the Canvas login page if you forget what you changed it to. Or in a pinch, we can change it for you. So it's not the end of the world, though you might get locked out of Canvas for a minute if you forget your password that you changed. But it will make your account more secure. I can't believe some enterprising student, and this has never happened in all the years I've been involved in online education. I've never seen it happen, but I can't believe that some enterprising student hasn't managed to, maybe, of course, they also need your user ID for Canvas, which is your PeopleSoft ID. But if a student happened to see, that's printed on all sorts of things that you might have laying around your desk. Have a student walk into your office someday and see that number, and the student, being young, probably has a memory, unlike me, memorizes your user ID, and then walks in one day and says, "Oh, happy birthday!" And it's not my birthday. My birthday is August 15th, or something like that. And the next thing you know, they've got your username and password to Canvas. They go, I can't believe somebody hadn't gone in and changed all the students' grades, a la war games and things like that. So it's a good idea to keep that Canvas login secure, and changing your password periodically is a good way to do that. Of course, I change my password with great regularity. Glad we ain't watching Pinocchio. All right. So I can change any of that using Edit Settings. You can also do a couple of nifty things here that you can't do anywhere else. You can download all of the assignment submissions submitted in all of your courses, present and past, any of the courses you've ever taught on Canvas. you can create a zip file that contains all of those submissions. And this is the only way to download those that I know of. Well, no, that's not true. You can download the submissions one at a time. This is the only way I know to download them en masse. This would be a way you could download this and keep it on your local computer. Of course, it only downloads the submissions up to that point, but this would ensure that if something awful happens to your course or something like that, you'd still have those submissions. It will take quite, I've always been afraid to do this because it will take quite a while to set this up, and it will be a huge file, but it should work fine. You can also download the content of your courses and have it downloaded to you in the format of a so-called EPUB file, which is a special type of ebook formats. The iBooks on your Apple device uses this format to display electronic books that you can read on your portable or your mobile devices. In order to use this, you have to have enabled this option in a particular course. You do that by going to that course on your dashboard. I'll just pick one at random here. And going to the course settings page. And going to the feature options tab on the settings page and scrolling down, and there's an EPUB exporting option, which is normally turned off, but you can turn it on by clicking on that and enabling it. You don't have to save that. It takes effect immediately. Then we can go back to our account menu. We can go to the settings page, just remind us how we got here in the first place, and download the content from that course. That's the one I just set up. You just click here, it generates the EPUB file. That takes a while. Then it gives you an option to download it. And you basically get a website that's downloaded to your computer that you can open up, and you can access all of the content that's in your course without having access to Canvas. So if you download that, one day Canvas is unreachable for some reason, your internet connection goes down, or you leave the district and you no longer have access to your Canvas courses, you can, if you've downloaded the content from the course as an EPUB, you can then reuse that content somewhere else. So it's something that can come in handy in limited circumstances. Then there are web services that you can subscribe to vis-a-vis your account, like Google Drive, for instance, is one. You just authorize access to your Google account and tell it you trust Canvas to do this, and that registered service appears over here, and there are things you can use that for in some of your courses. This little one is one that is kind of cute. It allows you to configure things about your Canvas account that you normally are either difficult to do or not available at all through the Canvas tool, through Canvas's actual tools. This will only work in the Chrome web browser, which I'm using right here, and it's a Chrome extension that is available. It's a little bit outside the scope of this session to show you how to use Chrome extensions. We do a separate session on how to do that, but it's a free Canvas related extension to the Chrome web browser that allows you to do all sorts of interesting stuff. Like you can change your theme in Canvas, and you can the colors and the fonts and things like that Canvas uses. You can get a better file manager than the one in Canvas. you can get a better interface for your Canvas inbox. And you can download entire modules from your courses. So it's just an example of something that you can enable in your user settings. Canvas Tools is the name of that if you're interested. If you're interested in more details about that, send me an email. I'll send you a link to a seminar, a recording of a seminar we did some time ago on Canvas, or on the Chrome extensions that work with Canvas. Approved integrations, really, that's something that's handled by the system itself. We don't need to worry about that. There are some feature options that affect your entire account in Canvas that you can turn on and off here. Most of them are set the way you'd want them, but you can, of course, for instance, select the option for a high contrast user interface if you're like me and your eyes are not what they once were. You can enable the Microsoft Immersive Reader, which will read Canvas pages to you audibly, and also automatically translate them into other languages. So if somebody sends you a Canvas page written in Spanish and you like me and you happen to be depressingly unilingual, you can have the Microsoft Immersive Reader translate that page for you, somewhat literally, but intelligibly usually. And a few other things. Usually there's nothing here you really need to change. Though you might want to enable the Immersive Reader if it's not already enabled. It usually is the one I see here that you might well want to turn on if it's not turned on in your account. Then whenever you open a Canvas page, you'll have the option to display it in the Immersive Reader. Oh, let's see. And that pretty much covers the settings page here. Any questions about that? That's a very important part of this presentation, but not the most important part. We're about to get to that. Notification settings. This is where you control when, how, and how often Canvas communicates with you by email and by push notifications. Let's take a look at the notifications page in your account settings. This is the meat, the real meat of this presentation. Notifications is the first option in this menu. In your account menu. Remember, you get to this menu by clicking on the account button in your global access menu, and then we can go to the account notification settings by clicking on notifications. These settings govern, these are account level settings, so they govern how Canvas behaves in all of your Canvas courses. What you get here is a table, and there's a column labeled course activities. Well, these are the triggers, the events that may cause Canvas to communicate with you, either by email or by push notification. And some of them are a little cryptic, like due date. What's that mean? Well, if you mouse over it, it tells you Canvas will notify you, or can notify you, if an assignment due date changes. Now, if you're the faculty member, if you're the teacher, you probably don't need that notification because you just did it. You're the one who made the change. Of course, in my case, sometimes it's not a bad idea to have Canvas remind me of what I did anyway. the closer you are to my age, the more likely you are to need some of these notifications, even if you're the teacher. But obviously, that one's really more focused on students. If a student sets that notification, or a student might find that useful to know if you change a due date, they might like to get notified immediately without just running into, and not turning it in on time or something. And there are just a whole slew of these events that can generate notifications, that are automatic notifications from Canvas via email and or push notifications. Notably important ones are the announcement course activity or trigger. This is especially useful for students. They can ensure that Canvas will notify them when you post an announcement in the course. So to see this announcement, they don't have to go into Canvas and read it. Canvas will actually send the announcement to them in an email if they have enabled email notification for the announcement. In most cases, student accounts will have this notification turned on, but you can't depend on it. The new accounts do have that turned on the vast majority of the time, but there are circumstances that can cause that not to be. But it's nice to know that if you post an announcement in your course, most of your students are going to get an email with the announcement in it. Students can be informed when you grade something, or when a submission comment is posted. Again, a lot of these are focused on students, but not all of them. One that's particularly important is the conversation message event. If you receive a message in your Canvas inbox and you have this conversation message notification activated, you will get an email that not only tells you that you got a Canvas message, but it also contains the text and any still images that are in the message that was sent to you. And I believe it also forwards attachments to you that were attached to that. Actually, you won't get any graphic images in a Canvas message because the Canvas messaging tool doesn't have that capability, but you will get the text of the message sent to your personal email, and the students can do the same thing. So this way, a student or you doesn't have to go and log into Canvas to read that message. They not only know they've gotten the message, but they get the text of the message in their personal email, which they're probably checking more often than they are logging into Canvas. So there's some very useful notifications that you can set up here, those being probably the most important. And you can encourage your students to go in and make sure that their notifications are set this way. They have the same access to their notifications that you have to yours. And you can't you can't change their notification settings for them. They have complete control over those settings. Only a system administrator could go in and change someone's notification settings for them, and we don't do that. Certainly not without somebody begging us to do it. And our response would generally be, here's the tutorial. Here's how you can change it yourself. We don't want to do that because that would be an inappropriate use of our access to the system. So, those are the various activities that might cause a notification email to be, or a push notification to be sent. But you get to decide in each case whether or not you want such notifications. For instance, if you want to be notified every time an announcement appears in a course in which you're a student, you have to go to the intersection here between the email column, and most accounts will only have one email column. There'll only be one email account associated with most Canvas accounts, user accounts. So you just go to this intersection between the row and the announcement row and the email column, and there's a little symbol of some sort there. If you click on that symbol, you see what your options are for being notified. Your options for how frequently you're notified, or whether you're notified at all if this event takes place in one of your courses. You can ask to be notified immediately, which means as quick as Canvas can, it sends you a notification email. It says that an announcement has just been posted in such and such a course, and here's the text of the announcement. And you get that effectively immediately. Or if this happens a lot and you don't want to get emails throughout the day, but you do want to know at the end of the day what's been going on, you can ask for a daily summary, which is sent about 6 p.m. in most cases. Or a weekly summary if it's really not urgent, but you just kind of like to keep your finger on the pulse. Or you can say, just don't bother me. Don't send me a notification when this occurs in Canvas. I don't want to keep getting all these emails. And you have for email notifications, you have these 4 options for all of the events or triggers that might cause Canvas to notify you of something. And you can set the notifications accordingly. And if you have multiple emails, you can control what Canvas sends to each email. Like I have multiple emails in here, but I only have a few events or event notifications sent to this email address and this one. Mostly I'm using this email, so that's where I have most of my notifications sent. So even though you associate maybe another email address with your account, you don't necessarily have to have Canvas sending a bunch of stuff to that. You can control exactly what triggers Canvas to send you emails from this page here. And the same with push notifications. The push notifications do not allow you to select all of these triggers. They're reserved for the most critical ones. Like, say, here's one I haven't discussed under discussions. Let's say you have a particularly important discussion topic in a course or in some of your courses, and you want to know if a new post is made to a discussion topic. You can turn on this new reply notification here. Actually, that you can't do that for push notifications. It's one of the notifications that's not supported in push notifications, but you can do that for new replies, and you can get a daily summary of everything that's posted to that discussion topic. So you don't have to go into Canvas and look and see what's been posted in the last day or so. You get it sent to you as an email. It can be a big time saver, especially if you've got active discussion topics that you want to keep an eye on. And with push notifications, you only have 2 options. That's either notify immediately or don't notify me at all. And those are only for some of the more urgent type of notifications. Sorry about that. So you have complete control over all these notifications at the account level, but you can also you can override these account level notification settings for particular courses by using this menu right here, settings for menu. You can either, the default is to have the changes that you make apply to your entire account, thus to all of your courses, but you can make certain changes to individual course notification settings that override your account level notification settings. So if there's something particularly important in one course that you want to monitor, that you don't want to monitor for all your courses, or you don't want to be receiving emails about it for all your courses, you can set that for an individual course, and the Canvas will notify you only about, say, announcements that appear in that course. So this is the most important, I'd say, part of this session. I wanted to give plenty of time for that. Does anybody have any questions about that? Or does that make sense? If you think of them, just speak up. Now I'm going to go quickly through the rest of these options in your account menus. ePortfolios are collections of student work or professional work that you've done that you've put into Canvas. So you can upload other content into it. Think of it as a professional portfolio that you can, on demand, you can share with a potential employer or with an instructor. If you're a student, you can share it with an instructor, or you can share it with an administrator, a boss, or something, if you choose to do so. They can't go in and look at your ePortfolio without your permission, unless you make it public. You can make it public if you want to, and let anybody who has a Canvas account look at it. Can't go into great detail on that because that's a 2-hour session all by itself, which we have done in the past, and the recording is on our Open on Demand site, which we try to mention at least once in every session. It's at sdccdolvid.org. If you have an email from me in your email inbox, this link is in my email signature. I send it out every time I send an email. And there are all tutorials on all sorts of subjects posted here, but also our workshop recordings under workshop archives here. And we'll have the one yesterday and this one up pretty quickly. Everything else that we've done is up there. And there's a search button if you want to know about ePortfolios. Just search for that. That's interesting. Not sure what happened there. I got to go check. That's supposed to be up there. I better go look. That's embarrassing. But you can, we do have a recording that I will make sure is accessible and searchable for that. We did a 2-hour session on how to use ePortfolios. Oops. Canvas gives you the capability, and others, the capability to share content among yourselves. Like if there's a document that you're using in your document file that you're using in your course, you want to share it with a colleague so they can use it in theirs. There are options when you pull up a page or a document to share it with other folks in the system. This link allows you to access items that have been shared with you. Here's a quiz that was shared with me. I probably shared it with myself from another account, but so you can share all sorts of course content with colleagues this way. And when you go to share it, it'll ask you who to share it with, and then they will be able to access it under this shared content link in their account menus. If you've received any merit badges, you can access them from here. If you use your mobile device fairly frequently to access Canvas, logging into Canvas on your mobile device is a little bit tedious. So this allows Canvas to give you a QR code for you to log in using your account credentials into Canvas on your mobile device. If you just proceed, you get the QR code, everybody's seen those on menus and so on now. And let's see if I take there's the QR code, and I take further than I meant to there, and take my smartphone and open up the camera app. And hold it up here. And let me share my smartphone screen with you here a second. We might as well use all the bells and whistles. All right, I'm going to follow the directions it gives me, which you don't see. I just go to the the control panel on the phone. On an iPhone, you swipe down from the upper right. There's a screen mirroring icon, and well, that's interesting. Oh, there it popped up. wasn't giving me the canvas option there for a second. I have a zoom, the zoom option. There it is. It showed me that, so I can now go and I can take my smartphone and it recognizes that QR code. I just tap where it says student. He said, come on. And it automatically brings up the Canvas student app. And that's interesting. Why is it not? Oh, here we go. There. Now it's logging me in. Huh. Don't know why that didn't work. Let's try regenerating that. Okay, I tap where it says QR sign in, and go next and get that code. Now it's logging me in, and there it worked that time. Code must have expired. It's only good for a minute or two. And there I'm logged into into my Canvas account on my smartphone. So that can be useful.
So Dave, I have to
Please.
log into Canvas on my computer in order to get that code to log into Canvas on my phone.
Yeah, you got it. To get the code, you got to log in on your computer. So it's of, shall we say, limited use, but it can be handy in certain circumstances.
Okay.
But yes, you're correct. You found the the flaw in that system. But and finally, global announcements allows you to see any current global announcements that are posted in Canvas. These can only be posted by a system administrator, and they affect, they involve things that are of college-wide or institution-wide importance, or perhaps district-wide importance. We try not to overuse these, and they all have to go through the Dean of Online and Distributed Learning to okay them before they can be posted as a business practice. But when there's something that the entire academy needs to know about in a hurry, or an entire college needs to know about in a hurry, these can be posted online, and you can access them. Normally they will appear at the top of your dashboard, but you can also access them from here. And especially usefully, you can access recent system announcements. If that was up there the other day and I didn't get that information, darn, now it's gone. You can get the recent announcements, and complete with links and things like that may still be of some use. And you can get that anytime in your account menus. And that pretty much covers it. Here we are. Got a whole minute left here. That pretty much
Dave,
covers
I have a question. I have a
Good.
question about shared content.
Yes.
So how does this shared content differ from Canvas normally where I can copy my course or share content?
Well, this allows what you generally use this for is to, and let me kill this. I did kill that share. Okay, that's good. This is normally used to share a particular content element in one of your courses with a colleague. Let's say you have you have a colleague who teaches the same course you do on Canvas,
Right.
and they ask you if they can borrow your final exam.
Okay.
You can share that final exam with them, and they can access it through this shared content link here, and then put it into their course shell and use it. Or it might be a document file, it might be a Canvas page, might be a homework assignment that
Okay.
you found particularly useful, and you can share it. And that's a lot easier than having us copy it from one course to another for you, because you can
Okay.
copy between shells in which you're enrolled, but you can't copy from your shell into a colleague's shell because you don't have access to it. And this will allow you to share content with a colleague without having to do that. That's a request we used to get fairly often, but now with this feature in Canvas, it's easy enough for you to do it. And
Okay.
what that looks like, if I go into let's see if I can remember how that works. Let's say I could just go into a course here, and there's maybe a quiz in here. And let's say I want to share this quiz with a colleague. I can go to the context menu out to the right here, and I've got a send to button here. And I can copy, let's see, start typing a person's name. Oh no, wait a minute. That's the course it's wanting. Let's see. All right, this is where you get off topic here. I didn't look at this. Let me think. How did I do that? Okay, when you want to know something about Canvas, you just go to Google. Sharing course content in Canvas. Sharing course content with another instructor. Add a user. Don't want to do that. Use the Canvas send to feature. Well, that's what I was trying to do. Let's see. Right. All right. All right, so what was I doing wrong there? Let's just share this quiz. Send to individuals. Let's see who have I got here. Of course, it's dependent on exactly how a person's name is entered. Okay, here we got a bunch of Terrys. But there he is. So if I
Yay.
want to share this with Terry, I can just click there and click send. And Terry will now have in his account menus a little notification, a number, probably a 1 right above shared content that will alert him to
Okay.
the fact that I've shared some content with you. You see that, Terry?
I do see it.
Cool. Thank you.
Hey, Dave, I gotta go, man. I gotta teach this class.
Go for it. Go for it. I'm just answering questions now. I'll keep doing that as long as people have them, but certainly the presentation is over here.
All right. Thank you as always.
Thanks for coming.
One question, Dave. What
Of
exactly is
course.
a badge? What does that mean?
Okay, it's basically an alternative to a grade as a signification of an accomplishment in a course.
Mhm.
And there's a badging system called Badger, cutely enough, that is part of Canvas that I don't, I don't have any tutorial for you on that. It's something that's on my list to get into. It's something that's relatively recently been added to the system, but you can recognize student accomplishment of certain goals in your course and things like that in ways other than just providing them with a grade. Think merit badges. And you can set up the criteria that the students have to meet in order to earn that badge, and then the badge is automatically awarded to them, and they can go into their account menu and see those badges. And it's a motivational tool.
Right. The
And yeah,
mhm. Yeah, I'll
and
Google it too.
that's a very reasonable question. I really do need to get in
Yeah.
and play with that myself. So I will put that, I'll move that up on my tutorial list here, and I will make sure I let you know when I get that done. All right?
Yeah. So speaking of which, we're towards the end of the semester, and
Yeah.
if I want to, of course, I'm on the website to see the on-demand link to look at archive videos if I, interested. So coming up over December, and I think in the intercession, will you be? Well, my question basically is there the calendar that I go to see what's upcoming? So I
Oh,
can,
yeah, absolutely. Great question. It is on our Online Learning Pathways website,
okay.
which you can get to by, it's sdccd.edu, like the district website.
Mhm.
Then
Yeah, which I go to.
/online. Yeah, there's no link to this on the website. You
Oh.
just have to know this. And that's, don't get me started. That's
Okay.
another issue.
All right, good.
I
I'll put-
apologize for that fact, but it's not anything I've had any power to alter
Yeah.
these 15, 16 years now. But sdccd.edu /online
Yeah.
will take you to the Online Learning Pathways website. And if you go, let's see, you do have to know to go to the faculty
Mhm.
resources page.
Yeah.
And at the bottom of that page is our professional development.
Good, good. And the is the olvid.org website still active?
Absolutely.
It is, okay.
Yeah.
Because I haven't gone to it a long time.
Right here.
Oh, good. Okay.
sdccdolvid.org. That's the one that embarrassed me a moment ago because it somehow my ePortfolio, I don't suppose it was because I made that plural. No. That should be showing up. I don't know what I did there. That is number one on my list that I had to figure out what happened to that recording.
Sure.
But there's just tons and tons and tons of information here, including
the archives.
Recording of this session within a day or two.
Of course, yeah. All right, thanks, Dave. Thanks so much.
My pleasure. Thanks so much for coming, Tavner. Great.
Yeah, sure thing.
I
see you
appreciate
later.
that.
Right on. No problem.
Bye-bye.